You want to know why I keep talking about racism and white supremacy? This is why. I want you to read this article. The secretary of Miami-Dade County's Republican Party started a group chat, primarily for conservative students last fall. And within 3 weeks of starting the chat, it was filled with racist slurs. Someone wrote dozens of ways of violently killing black people. And the chat was renamed after what member described as Nazi heaven. That was the name of their group chat. The N-word was used over 400 times. Regularly described women as whores, using slurs to talk about Jewish and gay people, and mused about Hitler's politics. Ew, you had colored professors? How edgy. I refuse to be indoctrinated by the coloreds. I was told we can't say black anymore. Avoid the coloreds like the plague. I would definitely not marry a Jew. This is the Republican Party. Have you heard the president denounce it? Absolutely not. But see, this is on their page, right? This is their logo because they're Christians. They're pro-life. Jesus, Jesus, God, God. We staunchly defend the rights and freedoms of every citizen. Oh, I'm sorry. Unless you're Jewish or black or immigrants or not white or a woman or anybody that's not a straight white supremacist. Got it. We serve as a unifying force representing the diverse voices within our community while working towards delivering Republican victories for South Florida. Wow. And see, when I hear people say, well, Paul, that's just cherry picking it. Let's go back to October 2025. A group chat on the Telegram messaging app includes certain members of the Young Republican National Confederation. This was exposed by a Political report. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Another quote, great. I love Hitler. This was just 6 months ago. Oh, it's just kids being kids. Oh. But let's look at that racist white supremacist Charlie Kirk, because he was just a great unifier, right? We put him on Air Force Two and held a Nazi-style rally because he is a Christian. Let's see how much of a not racist he is. January 23rd, 2024. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. December 8th, 2022. If you're a WNBA pot-smoking black lesbian, do you get treated better than a United States Marine? Praise Jesus. May 19th, 2023. Happening all the time in urban America. Prowling blacks go around for the fun to target white people. That's a fact. It's happening more and more. January 3rd, 2024. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because she's an affirmative action hire? July 13th, 2023. If we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Jackson Brown were affirmative action picks, we would have been called racists. Now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. You don't have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You have to go steal a white person slot to be taken somewhat seriously. Wow. This is what my former party is. It is white supremacy. Period. Hard stop. End of story. Charlie Kirk was worshipped like a god, like a deity. They put him on the Department of Education. The guy's a college dropout because he's a loser. But why do they worship him? And why do these other mediocre white men with micro penises like Charlie Kirk, why did they flock to him? Because he pushed white supremacy. He told you to fight for the white man, for the white America, American values. You want to talk about American values? Good. Let's talk about this great Christian nation and family values. Want to talk about slavery? Over 8,000 black people were lynched while white people stood in a church and took pictures. You want to talk about segregation in this great Christian nation? How about the 3/5 clause? And I know I see this a lot, but this is what it's about. Because people like this and Donald Trump, that's their version of the American dream. Is black people kissing the ass of the white man, worshiping them, being told what to do. You should be lucky that you're in this country. I don't care if your parents were hung in a tree. You better get a bald eagle and sing God bless America and be a patriot. If you don't like this country, you can leave. Well, if you don't like what I'm saying, you can ship your ass back to England where you came from. Because this is not our land. And all we do as white people is treat people like shit. Even now in Iran, no new war's president, the rapist that's protecting child molesters. 150 children died from bombing them. But hey, Jesus said it's the cost of doing business because the white man can do whatever the hell they want. Because that's what this is. We have normalized this. And when 77 million people cared more about their goddamn paycheck than a racist white supremacist grand wizard in the White House who rapes women and molests little children, you said, hey, as long as I have more money. And all these quotes that I gave you, this is who they are. And my wife tells me all the time, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. It doesn't matter if the Democrats win the midterms. It doesn't matter. Because this is why we're here. Part of this country is triggered that the white demographic is not going to be a majority. They are petrified of it. And they don't want to get treated like we've treated black people since 1619. That's all this is about. And all the other crap on the bros and The View and the news and the mainstream media, it's all BS because they don't want to talk about why we're here. This is why I give you example after example after example after example. And we don't want to have this conversation. Well, then we're going to lose democracy. You're going to lose your jobs. In fact, today the jobs report came out. We were supposed to be up, 52,000 jobs, and we're down, 92,000? Wow. Racism sure is expensive, isn't it, America? And that's what you all are going to find out, is that racism is expensive. And if you think that by sitting quiet because you don't do politics is the most selfish, white privileged thing you can do, if you think the darkness won't come over your door, if you think that your privilege is going to keep you safe, you're sadly mistaken. But you shouldn't do it for that reason. You should do it because it's the right thing to do. What I'm doing, this is actual patriotism. What this is bullshit. This is straight up Nazi propaganda, anti-Semitic bigotry and racism and white supremacy. And if we keep ignoring it, we're not going to have a country anymore. Because that's what's going to happen. And I'll leave you with the famous quote, right? First they came for the immigrants, but I wasn't an immigrant, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for the transgender athletes in college sports, but I wasn't transgender, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for women's rights, and women died, but I wasn't a woman, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for the black people, but I wasn't black, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for me, and I realized that my white privilege wasn't going to keep me safe. Have a white day.